Hello. I'm KallaTheYapper, and I'm back again with another video. So before I start the video, I'd like to thank everyone who watched the video and left a comment, whether you agreed with me or not. I'm personally shocked that the video performed so well, despite me believing that it would fall on its face, because striking gold twice isn't something that happens too often. It doesn't happen too often in life, at all. Now, the way I'm going to go about responding to comments, I made 3 categories for replying to comments. 2 of the 3 categories touch up on overall sentiment regarding exploration in Genshin relating to Natlan's exploration in particular, seeing as that's where most of the recent hate for Genshin exploration is being aimed at compared to every other region in the game. The 3rd category will be me responding to 3 commenters directly. Sorry if I'm messing up on my words. Here are the categories. Category 1, valid point, but category 2, my bad. I disagree, here's why. Category 3, direct back and forth. I'll try my best to be as concrete as possible with my arguments. Let's start off with the first category. Valid point, but. For the commenters who personally don't like using Saurians because it's more convenient to have Natlan characters in their team since it's less time consuming, or that the Saurians feel horrible to use. I understand how you feel, however, I think it's worth mentioning that if you aren't already using your Natlan team, when you decide to continue exploring Natlan, you more than likely don't feel like swapping your team around just so you can use your Natlan units to explore Natlan. I've done this multiple times when I'm using my Overload team, and I don't feel like changing my team just to explore Natlan. I just use the Saurians and move on with my day because it's not a very big deal for me if I'm not using my Natlan units for exploration, when the Saurians get the job done for me at the same level as the playable units. Time for category 2. I disagree, here's why. For the commenters who said that the Saurians were clunky, too slow, and downright unusable, or that any gadget in the game is downright unusable, I need to say this. From the way some of y'all in the comment section of the last video framed the Saurians in this manner, I completely just disagree with such framing. Every Saurian that I've used has always been a smooth experience for me personally and extremely useful. This includes other gadgets in the game as well. This is coming from someone who plays Genshin on the PS4. It never felt like it was clunky or dread to use them, since I'm more accustomed to using the Saurians and these gadgets than the Natlan characters, or most characters who have traversal abilities. I really am not a fan of the swap mechanic that Natlan units perform while in a team together. Mind you, only when you are on the ground or in a tight spot. You'll be wanting to simply change characters, then you'll be forced into a swap mode when you weren't trying to quick swap, right? This swap mechanic forces me to be really restricted with my movement just so I don't activate the swap mechanic. I prefer the Saurians over the Natlan units in this regard. Now for the final category, direct back and forth. Now for this category, I'll be responding to at least 3 commenters directly and countering their arguments to the best of my abilities, even if I don't cover everything that was said, as I mentioned earlier. Let's begin. The first comment I'll respond to is one made by Cat, or iCat. My bad if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, bro. They had at least 2 comments, but I'll be regarding it as one whole comment. I'll put their comment up on the screen so you can see it. So to sum up their comment, basically they misunderstood the comparisons I made regarding gadgets and utilities in both Wuwa and Genshin. Cat, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, said / implied that I was comparing the Renacida flight gadget to the wind generator and comparing Chaska / Wanderer skills to the red feather fan, which I never did. They also said that the gadgets, or the 2 gadgets they mentioned in Genshin, are useless, which isn't true. I recently tried it and it was helpful and really useful. It'll be especially useful for free-to-play players who want more speed and airtime when gliding. Red Feather Fan needs to be activated before you glide, and You use the wind generator while gliding to get more airtime, which is similar to the Wuwa grapple in this regard, since the only use it has is getting you more airtime until there is a grapple point that you need to interact with, like, let's say, a wing ray whenever it's nearby. Kat also mentioned how they couldn't bear traversing leeway without Kazuha. This proves my point about how exploration, at least vertical exploration, in the first year of Genshin was something that made players feel like they needed to have a character like Venti, Albedo, Zhongli, and Kazuha. However, again, this doesn't apply to modern Genshin with the implementations, my apologies, of environmental gadgets that were built into the regions as the years passed. They mentioned that some of the gadgets or exploration mechanics can only be used in a quest or when looking for oculi, which isn't entirely true because the environmental exploration mechanics in each region will be in said quests and in the open world when you simply run around. Now, if it's gadgets that are used for open world quests, which usually have you explore areas that need to be unlocked, then they are correct in that regard, since gadgets like the Scarlet Sand Slate is used for unlocking ruins in the Sumeru Desert, which are accompanied by world quests. Kat also mentioned that there are times when the light and dark attribute isn't always present when you need to have a to have a Fontaine character for that. I'll give them that simply because I haven't experienced moments like this or have forgotten about them. I will say this though, new players and older players didn't need to spend money for a character to solve those puzzles in Fontaine, since Hydro Traveler has the light attribute and Lynette has the dark attribute, which you can get for free. To finish this off, they say that Genshin doesn't respect players' time, especially for free to play when it comes to exploration. I disagree simply because players have all the time in the world to explore in the game and it's not time gated like a limited time event. Exploration in Genshin, like Wuwa, my bad, lets players tackle it at their own pace. There has never been a moment where I felt the need to hurry and explore the entire region, even when they started giving extra rewards for exploring Natland within a 3-month period. 3 months is more than enough time to explore to get those extra rewards, by the way. I know someone's going to say that world quests take up time. Here's my counterpoints to that. First, you have enough time to do a world quest, especially during your free time. And if you got 5 to 6 hours worth of time to just to play Genshin, to explore Genshin, my guy, you have plenty of time. There's no excuse for why you can't get it done. Counter number 2, recent world quests, especially for Natlan, have lasted for 2 to 4 hours max. Unless I'm streaming it, it's gonna last 8 hours. Go back and look at the categories, some of the world quests or 1 or 2 world quests I've done on my streams on YouTube. You're gonna see it's gonna be at least 8-hour stream for no reason. Okay, let's continue. Counter number 3. It's not a race to 100% your map. I just recently 100%ed my map for Dragonspine, despite it being released years ago. You just need to take your time. That's how you're able to enjoy things more. Now, on to the next commenter. Next up is I Love Plump Grannies. Yes, that's the name of this user. That's their username. I'm not lying. I'll show it right now on the screen. Now, this commenter tried to hit me with gotcha questions and, in bad faith, interpreting my words and examples in my video, while also coming off as if they know what they were talking about when they don't. Here's their comment. All right. Now, time to respond to their first comment. Flight was free in Genshin before Wuwa. There was no argument to be had there when 5.2 was released on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. My bad. Meanwhile, Flight in Wuwa came out in Renacita, which was released back in January 2nd, 2025. You don't even need to be a day one Genshin player to know this basic ass info. All characters had access to the grapple mechanics across 4 entire regions, being Inazuma, Sumeru, Chinyu Vale, and now Natlan. Kinich isn't proof that Natlan's exploration was hard to do without him when an equal equivalent existed in Natlan. This also applies to all Natlan characters and Saurians alike. No, wall running is not accessible to all characters or areas in Genshin. However, wall running does exist in Natlan, and the only things that can do it for free are Kachina and the Geosaurian. Meanwhile, Shalon and Mawika are characters you either have to win the 50-50 to obtain via the primos you saved up, or spending money to absolutely guarantee that you get them so that you can wall run. Just because you don't like using Saurians doesn't mean they aren't free traversal mechanics that you don't need to spend money on. The argument of my video is that it's free, not which one is superior. You dumbass. Also, your traversal experience is not the end-all be-all when it comes to the Saurians, seeing as I enjoy using them while you don't. Now for the final response. It's for the user called Rockstar. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. My apologies if I'm not. They claim that my entire video was made in bad faith, and that the bad faith criticism that the Gacha CCs made that I mentioned in my video is fabricated by me, and that I'm bending facts to fit my narrative. Let that sink in real quick, because when I read this comment originally, I was stunned by how dumb that claim was. I'm going to be honest with you, Rocks. It was an extremely dumb claim. Now, let's tackle this right now. I'm not making up a bad faith criticism that's been a thing since version 5.2 with the release of Chaska. The clips I provided in my video are the very sentiment that quality of life traversal mechanics or benefits are something that players are forced to pay for and not free at all in Genshin. Those clips are from videos from last month to 3 to 6 months ago. Regardless if they say it explicitly or implied, that's what their argument / criticism stands on. This ain't something I put out of my ass. Maybe you haven't been around when this discussion was being had. There is a reason why I linked their videos in the description of the last video so that everyone can hear it from the horse's mouth themselves. Let's play these clips again, shall we?
But if I want to traverse through Natlan in a decent way, I need to buy Chaska or Mavika or Shalonen, or the fact that they sold all 3 of these type of characters before Mavika came out, so you really didn't need to buy any of them if you wanted just exploration. You could have bought Mavika. It's predatory as fuck. Natlan is the region of greed. It is not the region of war. It is the region of greed.
They've only continued to add more predatory monetization to the game, like hiding quality of life exploration behind characters. We can then juxtapose that with the new flying system and Wuthering Waves that's been added for completely free into the region.
Okay. Could you imagine that zone if you could have a glider that was free? That should be hype, bro. If you take that map and you put that shit in Wuwa, oh my God, cinema. Fucking cinema.
Now that we heard the criticism again, they are still saying the very thing I'm pushing back on, which is that quality of life traversal mechanics are locked behind characters and that you need to spend money for them. I'll ask this right now to those who disagreed with the last video. Do you believe that you need to spend money in Genshin for quality of life traversal mechanics? Type it right now and I'll put it on my YouTube community post proving my point further. These are the same CCs who say that Genshin created a problem for players when it comes to exploration, and sold the solution to players via playable characters. I shall even remind you, Rocks, that the people who disagreed with me in the last video believe in that very sentiment that you claim I fabricated to fit my narrative. please go watch those CCs on your own time and go look at the comment section of the last video I made before claiming that I'm lying and making stuff up. That also goes to those who claimed that I was arguing against a point that wasn't being made, despite these horses yapping their gums off for you all to see, arguing the very point I made my video responding to. Also, the free traversal mechanics in Genshin are as shitty or as inconvenient as you and others claim them to be, when again, they are conveniently placed for the player's benefit. Even if you have to spend a little time to get the materials to craft a quality of life gadget that will make the base exploration easier for you, like the treasure compass. The majority of Rox's comment, or Roxar's comment, in my honest opinion, I'm being honest here, is filled with nitpicking or exaggerating the availability of exploration mechanics. For instance, saying that the Saurians aren't available when you need to traverse, despite the fact that they are in literally every zone of Natlan, is ridiculous. Case in point, when you enter the Children of Echoes tribe, Geosaurians are the first thing you encounter. There's even one by the Statue of the Seven. That Saurian is next to a fissure on the left side. You can use it to just leap across the gap to climb the mountain on the other side, and you'll come across a group of enemy Saurians that you are able to inhabit. When traveling down the main road, you come across another Saurian and a recharge station. This pattern continues all the way to the stadium. The same applies to every area of Natlan. Where there is a phlogiston recharge point, there is always a Saurian nearby. Grapple Saurians are one of the other two Saurians you come across outside of the Children of Echoes tribe before you even reach the Scions of the Canopy. My bad. There are even random Saurian gadgets sitting in the open and or next to a challenge beacon or a recharge station as well. Here's even more proof. The Genshin Impact interactive map shows the location of every available Saurian in Natlan. This applies to every other environmental gadget as well. The link to the interactive map will be in the description. It's amazing that Rox says that they even 100% their map and is claiming that it was a struggle, even though the Saurians were literally everywhere as shown by the interactive map along with the recharge stations. Another thing that Roxar, mentioned is that the timer and alignment of the Electrogranum being horrible. This gadget was the first and last of its kind that required players to level it up as you continue to explore Inazuma. At its lowest level, it has a duration of 15 seconds, and as you explore more and obtain more Electro Sigils, the duration will increase up to 30 seconds. It can also be used as a weapon in combat, since if you have an Electro unit or a team of Electro characters, the Electrogranum will perform AoE attacks and deal Electro damage. 30 seconds is more than enough time to align yourself to be able to warp from one spot to the next, or let the alignment happen automatically, which it can do. The Electrogranum's timer resets when you warp from point A to point B as well. I was told this by a friend on Discord. So even with how the Electrogranum was designed, it still is useful. It still is and was useful and very easy to use. Roxar claims that me comparing stamina helping units is bad faith, since you don't use stamina as much in comparison to Genshin, and that Genshin units enhance exploration greater than Wuwa in that regard. That's not entirely true, especially knowing that stamina is used for dashing, mid-air dash, climbing, swimming, gliding, flight, fighting, and wall running in Wuwa. Meanwhile, you use stamina for running, climbing, swimming, gliding, fighting, and dashing. That's the reason why I mentioned the stamina cap, seeing as Wuwa only has 2 extra things that movement stamina is used for. Did y'all know that Carlotta reduces stamina costs when flying by 20%? meaning you can fly for longer, which players want to do since players really love the flight mechanic in Renacida. The fact that Wuwa has stamina helping units is more than enough of a reason for me to mention them, or the fact that these stamina helping units aid in traversal of any kind. The default stamina cap in Genshin is also enough to climb up or run across an open field and such. Don't even get me started on the food consumables that last up to 15 to 30 minutes each, whether it's for increasing movement speed or decreasing stamina consumption by a certain percentage. The grapple that Kinich has isn't really an advancement to the base traversal, it's just another method of traversal, unlike a passive talent that a playable character has that's designed to enhance the base traversal. For example, characters that increase gliding speed, like Shinyun and Auroron, or characters that increase movement speed during the day or night or at night, like Rosaria and Dia. There is an enhancement to the base traversal mechanics that I mentioned in the previous video via the elemental, my apologies, resonance buff that has been in the game forever. That buff increases all movement speed by 10%, decreases stamina cost by 15%, and shortens skill cooldown by 5%. There isn't a limit to how long it lasts. It is indefinite. It is indefinite. I'm gonna repeat that a third time. It is indefinite. Here's a clip of Verissa running without using her skill versus a team with 2 animal units with no movement enhancing skills and an active animal resonance buff and characters who possess passive talents that increase movement speed. Here's the clip. As you clearly saw, you can achieve the same amount of increased base speed as Verissa without her on your account, using 4 stars and a standard 5-star character that you can get for free without spending money. Now that I've responded to the comments that I wanted to, along with the things that I said that I believe were the most important things for me to tackle, I still stand by what I said in my previous video and in this one as well. There are some things that I'd like to say as well before ending the video. To those who said that I was claiming it to be a positive thing, that there isn't any Wave Rider summon point in Mondstadt and Leeway and not a negative thing, I wasn't saying that it was a positive thing that there aren't any summon points for the Wave Rider in those areas. I was saying that players have the ability to take the Wave Rider to an area where it can't currently be summoned to and use it to reach those islands. Granted, as some of you have said, you'd rather take an ice bridge, which is cool for you to do. However, new players are the ones who will need to do that, or they could just glide to reach those islands as well. Older players who already reached those islands and activated those waypoints don't need to do that though. Check this out. I have a clip that I recently made just for the sake of this. Peep it. Another thing I like to show y'all was my first time using the Echo Bow in Reseda. It was quite funny. Here's the clip right now.
Okay, use the controller. Okay.
That song, where is it coming from?
I know, nigga. Oh nah. Oh nah.
This could be Imperador's test.
Niggas were flexing this in the comment section, trying to argue back with me about traversal mechanics and woo while being better than Genshin. No way niggas were flexing this. No. No. I am about to crash out. That niggas tried to flex this in the comment section to tell me this was better than the Wave Rider. Oh my goodness. I gotta take these headphones off. Give me a second. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna turn off my mic. Give me a second.
Anomalies in the sea of clouds are stirring them to life once more. You seem very knowledgeable about all this.
Why, yes. I've long been fascinated by Raguna's history and art. After all, to chart our future, we must first understand our past. Is that not true? We're likely to encounter more reverberations on our way. They may even contain vital information. You can search for more if you're curious.
Okay, I'm back. Damn, my nostril done blew out. These are just laughing. Niggas. Bro, I am dying. I'm wheezing bad while my nostrils are acting out. My voice don't even sound right. These niggas, some niggas in the comment section who were disagreeing hard were mentioning this boat and flexing it like it was something worth flexing. This is not worth flexing. Someone tried to tell me the Wave Rider was freaking clunky to use in comparison to this. Nah, bro. The Wave Rider got so much more freedom of control. This swings left and right with big wide turns. Bro, I can do wide turns and tight turns with the Wave Rider. And speed boost it. Hold on, can this speed boost? Okay, it can speed boost. But it's not as fast as the Wave Rider. F all that. Like, nah, nigga. I can't believe someone tried to flex this. I can't believe it. I mean genuinely. I know I'm stopping in the midst of this story because I want to get as much done because I gotta go work tomorrow. But I must express my opinion. This is ridiculous. After the brother we heard, I can control it better than this boat. Oh, pray, bless my soul. Yo, when I make this video, make a response. When I make this response video, I'm going to attempt to be as respectful as possible and not crash out while voicing my voice lines. If I have to, I will freestyle the whole video and add like a donkey on it. I promise you. I'm going to try my best to be as sincere and respectful. I promise.
Okay, enough of the jokes and the laughter. Let's collect ourselves, okay? Now, to conclude the video, again, I stand by everything I've said in the previous video and in this one. I really do appreciate the commenters who disagree with me. Y'all are my fuel for this back and forth, which I really appreciate because I always enjoy the conversation. If you still disagree with everything I've said, even in this video, that's fine. We'll just end this discussion with a simple agreeing to disagree. Now, for upcoming videos, I'm thinking about talking about the complaints I've seen towards Skirk, the upcoming character that's probably going to come out in version 5.7 of Genshin, regarding the element that she is and her potential niche team building playstyle. I also might make a video talking about the WUA anniversary rewards being lackluster and those 10 rerun banners with 50/50 on them, which is hilarious considering the fact that so many said that the anniversary was going to be crazy. And for it to be the sequel to the first Genshin anniversary 5 years ago is funny as F. I'm not gonna lie. It's extremely funny. What else can I say? Thanks for liking the video, or hold up, correction. Thanks for watching the video. Like and sub to the channel for more yapping topics. That's what I'm calling these videos of mine from now on. Join the Discord. The link is available. It's in the community post of my YouTube channel. Hopefully this video is released before next month arrives. And yeah, I think that's all I got to say about it. Do I have anything else I want to say? Nope, that's it. Good night. See you later. Bye.